this modern era, a woman has been very contributing factor in all aspects of the life, be it any profession. Woman is very equivalent whenever it comes to the power of a man. Today on this episode of The Ladder, we have Deputy Commandant Vama Gaur, retired from Coast Guard. She is an author and co-founder of Hapster Pvt Ltd. I, Shaurya, as a host of the Ladder podcast channel, welcome you all to this first episode of interviewing Coast Guard officers. Before I begin the interview, let me show you the purpose and motto of our podcast channel.
Confusion is inevitable state of mind in all stages of life, be it the education, selection of life partner, or the job. More the options, more is the confusion. Despite being the exceptional military leaders, when it comes to transitioning from boots to suits, we again encounter the same confusion. Which job profile to select, what certification needs to be done, and where do we start are all questions that haunt the mind. We at The Ladder bridge this gap of unknown queries by interviewing veterans who are already well settled after their transition. We bring you their valuable experience and share guidance so that you all are benefited. Following the motto of once a soldier, always a soldier, we're here to fill that gap of mentoring and guidance so that bonhomie of armed forces fraternity remains intact.
Alright, Deputy Commandant Vama was commissioned into the Coast Guard in the year 2012. After that, she was posted as a staff officer to the commander in Goa. Then she completed her ATC course and she has varied experience of service in Daman, Goa. And presently, she has authored 2 books and co-founded the Hapster Pvt Ltd. While leaving the service, she has completed her executive MBA in HR and event management in the year 2014. Good morning, ma'am.
It's an honor to interview a versatile person like you, ma'am. And we are very fortunate to have you on this episode of the podcast channel, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shaurya. Thank you for having me here.
I would like to know your IT engineering experience and the short span of intern you have worked in the Oracle database management, ma'am.
Yes. So I did my 12th from Wellington. My father was in the Air Force. He has recently retired. We were posted at Army. We posted in Wellington. Wellington is near Tamil Nadu. So I was doing my 11th and 12th over there. I was in Army School, Wellington there. From there, I had to take my AIEEE exam because that was the in thing. When you talk about the 90s, it was all about either being an engineer or being a doctor. So I had to take my AIEEE exam, but somehow I missed it. So once my dad got posted to Amritsar, his next posting was in Amritsar. That was the time when I left with him for that place, and I did not have any other option, or I did not have any clue exactly what college I'm going to join. So that time I went to this college called Amritsar College of Engineering and Technology, ACET. I had good marks. I had a good percentage in my 12th. So somehow they took me in the college. I was not at all sure about exactly what do I have to do in the engineering, like what branch should I choose. So I went for a branch which was very easy that time. It was computer science. I wanted to go for computer science, but then they said the seats are already full there, so you can go for IT. It was almost equivalent to that. I never wanted to go for EC because I'd heard it was pretty tough. So IT, that's how IT came into picture. And I did my 4 years of college there. And the last 6 months, the semester which was there, I thought I'll do Oracle because I wanted something which is just, one in a company. So that is why I joined Oracle. I joined this database management system course, which was in Chandigarh that time. So that's how all these things came into picture.
Okay, great, ma'am. Ma'am, can you explain about your experience as ATC officer that you have served in Daman location?
Yes. So ATC was it was a it was a disguise. It was a big picture in disguise. I was never inclined towards ATC, or as such, I was never connected to any aviation cadre when I joined. I joined as a ground duty officer. So when that came into picture, I was a little skeptical of exactly how will I function in that field of being an air traffic controller, because it was a completely new thing for me. I never seen exactly how ATCOs work, but I did my course in Dundigal for about 6 months in the Air Force Academy, and it was a pretty good experience. It was very challenging. It was a virtual game. It's a virtual video game which you play with aircraft, with live aircraft, and it's a very big thing altogether because everything is in your head. Everything is on paper or in your head. So uh, for people who like a challenging job, people who really uh, want to challenge their instincts and challenge their work, their profession, I think ATCO is a very good job for them. So as it was pretty good for me too.
Okay, ma'am. So then when did you decide to switch your job from the Coast Guard to the corporate, ma'am?
So 8 years down the line, when I finished my tenure as a short service commissioned officer, my husband, he was also like we both were serving. We both were in Porbandar last 3 days. Last 3 years, we were posted at Porbandar. So that was the time when we realized that it is time to move out, because the sooner you move outside in the civil world, the better it is, because you get a hold of your resume, you get a hold of your skills, and people are looking for people like outside. People are looking for someone who are veterans, and they have a very fresh experience with themselves. So that was the time when we decided, and I wanted to go on the family way also. So I think that was the right time that I had a lot of experience and we thought of shifting outside.
So, from the government job, you chose to work in the again a private job, ma'am, private companies or your startup experience. And so, what was this reason that you did not choose again in another government job or any PSU job, ma'am?
Um, Frankly, I had seen both the worlds: a corporate job where I was working under someone, and a government job where it is a big organization. I preferred the government job more, but I wanted to have a standing of my own. If you see my profile, I'm an author, plus I have a company of my own. I'm not working under someone. So these were the two things which I wanted, that I don't want to work under someone, and second is I wanted a standing of my own. Plus, of course, COVID happened. I had my baby. I have my baby, like she's 2 years, 2 years 3 months. So I had to stay at home with her. So I feel that for home moms or people, for ladies, even veterans who are having kids and who want to spend time with their family, being an author and having a company of your own or having a startup of your own is the best thing you can do, because you have all the time with yourself. You don't have to rely on the other person's. You don't give passive income to someone else. You're not working under someone. You're not answerable to someone. Today, if you don't have time, you can do it after 3 days. So you don't have to answer someone. Yes, you do need discipline, because it's a very consistent process. You can't, if you're writing a book, you don't leave everything in between. There's no one to support you. There's no one to give you a danda behind that, on your back, that this is what you're supposed to do and this is what you're not supposed to do. So there's a very consistent process. Like in Forge, you always have a senior standing, above you, and there's an HOD, and he will tell you this, do this, do this, do this. But outside in the civil world, if you go for these two professions or something equivalent, there's no one sitting on your head. You have to do it on your own. So that is a self-discipline you require if you have to do this.
Great, ma'am. As such, you are already versatile and a fighter woman, ma'am. And among this all busy schedule and the planning, you again plan to do your MBA graduation. So tell us
Yes.
more about your MBA qualification in HR and event management, ma'am.
Yes, so we were in Daman. It was 2013 when self and my husband, we had recently got married. We thought, chalo, so this one more thing is there that like when you are married to a very the right partner, then obviously you both can do wonders. So that was a time when we both decided to do MBA. We thought that was the need of the hour, and aage, when kab time milega, we don't know. So the best part is that we do MBA together. So that's the time when we pursued executive MBAs. There were so many times when we would discuss answers. We would, to put these answers on paper, make assignments together. Whenever there was a Sunday, he was off flying, I was off duty. So that was a time when we would actually sit together and do our MBA assignments. So that was it was a good time. And we took just 6 months to finish our assignments, and we passed with honors. So that was the best part.
So, be it any startup or any job you want to pick up, ma'am, do you really think that this MBA graduation is very important or crucial for one should do before leaving the job and switching to the corporate world, ma'am?
Okay, what I feel is that every certification you take is just paper. I'll be very frank enough, because whatever we have been taught in schools or in colleges, somewhere it does not relate to the experience you carry. I don't remember using any of my college experience or my book experience in my work. It was all situation based. It was all circumstances based, like day to day activities, whatever you would learn, and ultimately it becomes a muscle memory. So I don't say that you need MBA, but yes, if you have to go into that eligibility criteria, most of the companies, they say we need an MBA. So if you want to, have that eligibility criteria, definitely you should have one. Otherwise, I don't think it is much of a requirement. Your day-to-day activities as a veteran, or as a officer, that is good enough to handle any kind of responsibility.
Okay, ma'am. Did you do any other jobs before co-founding this Hapster Private Limited, or any interview or somewhere like searching the jobs and all, ma'am?
I had about 6 months of gap when I left Coast Guard, and I started with this Hapster. I had about 6 months of gap, and I had conceived that time. I was almost 3 months pregnant. So I had two options. I still remember I had to talk with my colleague, and she said, "Let's do MBA." And out of the blue, I blurted. I said, "Why do we have to do MBA? We already know a lot of stuff. Let's start a business." So that's how the Hapster company and the Hapster story came into picture, because um, I do try to apply for a lot of jobs, but somehow I thought it was, lesser than the caliber what I was meeting in the services. So I wanted to go for something which is very much, required in an organization. I didn't want to do it just for the heck of it or just for money. I really wanted to put my skills and test my skills somewhere where it is required, and where it'll make a difference. So I thought that Hapster is the best thing to do. Having your own company, having your own startup, and fighting for it every day as an entrepreneur is the best thing you can do.
Great, ma'am. Sure. Ma'am, both of the name of your two books sounds very interesting. Please tell about authoring and the way you have achieved the writing and finally launching the books and all.
So as I told you, like I would love to test my skills all the time. When I was in Coast Guard, that was this time when I started writing my first book. It was a very big surprise for everyone, because when I would get time, we have those OD duties. I'm sure you must be knowing, like officer on call duties. So that person has to stay in the station 24/7 duties there, like maybe on Saturdays or Sundays. So I would get little time off on those days, and those 3 to 4 hours, I would sit and I would type. Initially, I started with daily journaling, but when I wrote about 30 to 40 pages of my daily journaling, I converted it into a manuscript, because when I sent it to few publishing houses, they said we want more of it. And I remember the last 20% I had to finish. I had literally scribbled down everything and finish it off so that I can send it to them, because that was also a big surprise myself. When I started writing, it was not to write a book. It was just basic journaling. So that is how my first book came into picture. And if you read that book, it's called Heels, Boots, and Casuals. If you read that book, you will feel maybe you'll connect somewhere, because there's a lot of forge involved in it. There's a lot of training which I have put into those pages. It's about the Indian Naval Academy training we had. Almost half the book is of that training and how it makes you stronger with every passing day. So that's how my first book came into picture. And the second book also, I started off when I was doing my Hapster work, and I had conceived that time. So I thought, let me finish off one more book before I get busy with the baby. And second thing I had in mind was that I wanted to never give a gap in between my work the day I left Coast Guard, and then I will probably be joining somewhere after 6 years, 7 years. So these 6 years and 7 years, I never wanted to give a gap in between them. I don't want people asking me, "Kya kiya un 7 years mein?" Yeah, what have you actually achieved in those 5 years except for raising a baby? So I didn't want that kind of question. So that's why probably I filled my resume with as much as I could.
Ma'am, you seems to be a classical example of time management and utilizing the right opportunity. And to add on to your again success story, I would like to know what was your experience as a jury member that you were present in some beauty pageant, ma'am?
It was fab. It was a big surprise for me because modeling was something which did not come. It did not come eventually. There was this Mrs. India contest, which was in 2018, I remember, and I was still serving. When I saw this advertisement, I thought, let me go for it. And we don't need an NOC for that. There's that. A lot of things came into picture. I was like, chalo chodo, NOC kaun lega, let me go. But then I was like, what if media is there and they get to know that a serving officer is, walking the ramp? So I went to my boss. I told him that this is what I desire and I really want to do it. So that was the first case itself when two lady officers, we were two of us. There was a junior of mine as well. So we walked into our bosses and our bosses were flabbergasted. They said, "You really want to walk the ramp? That's what you want to do?" And I said, "Why not? I mean, okay, we'll see exactly, because I also don't have any idea of exactly what happens in those pageants, but then why not?" So this NOC application went all the way to CGHQ, our Coast Guard headquarters, and it shook almost everyone of their wits, because they didn't know what to do about it. Apply karna hai ya nahi karna hai, ya fir approve karna hai nahi karna hai. They did not have. They actually opened a lot of books. Army में क्या हो रहा है, Navy में क्या हो रहा है, Air Force में क्या हो रहा है, and somehow they got to know that, I found out that one Army officer had participated already, and she had won as well. Though that was a different case altogether. There were other things also involved, but so that was a time when we got an NOC, and I still remember it was just 1 week left for that pageant, and I was in the mess. I was getting this mess constructed. If I say constructed, it was actually construction going on there. Somehow we were connected to the works department there, and this mess was coming up, and I had gone all black. I did not take care of my skin, my hair. I was like, chalo dekhi jayegi. At least I've got the NOC in hand and I am going there. So when I went there, it was a complete different platform altogether. We used to call everyone ma'ams, ladies ko we say ma'ams generally. Okay, hi ma'am, how are you? Everyone was a ma'am there, and it was very tough to compete with them there. So that was a very different experience, and I did not know what question answers should I prepare. So I actually prepared like an SSB. And the question they asked me there was, okay, if someone doesn't want to walk the ramp, how will you make them walk the ramp? So my brain was processed in such a manner. I said, I'll order them. Of course, I will order them walk the ramp. That is how we're supposed to do it. But then they were expecting a very subtle answer, like, you will persuade them, you will tell them exactly ramp walking is so good and it will build your career and all that. So that that was the area where I didn't have an answer to their questions. But otherwise, overall, it was a very, very good experience, a very I mean, eye-opening experience for me.
Great, ma'am. Ma'am, amidst this beauty pageant, you remember authoring 2 books. When did you decide about starting up your own company? Please tell about this Hapster Private Limited that you have co-founded, ma'am.
Yes. So this Hapster Private Limited is basically, it's a mobile application. It's a platform. So what happened was during COVID times, I'm sure even you must be having a lot of WhatsApp groups where the ladies are selling breads. The ladies are selling pastries, homemade cookies. So they were using WhatsApp as a mode of, advertising and marketing their products. We wanted to provide them an e-store, a platform basically for home businesses where they have their own e-stores and a lot of business tools involved inside, so that they don't have to, bother about sending links and, asking people to visit their stores or their WhatsApp groups, because no one wants to join WhatsApp groups anymore. It's a lot of spam involved in the groups. So with delivery system, in-app delivery, in-app, business tools integration, so that we are building a mobile application for these homemakers specifically, and specifically for home businesses. Right now, we are currently in Calcutta. We'll be launching it here very soon, maybe in a month or so. And after that, we are planning to go pan-India.
Great, ma'am. All the best for your new venture. So,
Thank
can you
you.
tell us about if someone is willing to do a startup, ma'am, what all aspects he should consider, or how to go about one if he is aspiring to do a startup?
Uh, the one thing, major one thing, what as like I've spent almost 2 years in this thing now. So one major thing is you need to find the problem. Where is the problem? Who's having this problem? Who's suffering from this problem? And then you should find the solution. Once you find the solution, make a very small prototype of that solution and try to spread it among those people who are having that problem. If they feel they are satisfied even 50%, 60% of it, then you put money and you make a bigger prototype. So that's how you should go in any business, because you basically, it's all problem solving. Startups are what? Problem solving things. Or maybe you're too creative to make something very new and very innovative that people can't even think of. So these are the two ways where you can have your own startup solving problems.
All right, great, ma'am. Ma'am, what I can make out is the discipline, time management, and of course the physical fitness are must be the key lessons for all of your successful different
You,
ventures.
yes, you guessed
So,
it. Hmm.
can you tell us about other lessons of the uniformed life, ma'am, that have must have helped you in all these career aspects, ma'am?
Okay. So, as you mentioned, yes, discipline, consistency. People are not consistent with their work. So, please, if you're consistent with your work, then definitely. Two major things which I would like to point here. So, whenever I have been doing a lot of things. I'm a jack of all trades, but I'm master of none. So, when I generally talk to people, they would say, "Kya zarurat hai itna karne ki?" What is the requirement? You have a kid at home, you can easily have a good life, your husband is in a good job, and there's no need for struggling so much and pressurizing yourself every now and then. What I would say is that, very simple example, when a Saturday comes and people are like, aaj party karni hai, aaj party karni hai. I'm also a party person, so every Saturday we have this thing as youngsters, aaj party karni, aaj party karni. So this enthusiasm is always there for a party, then if you put that same enthusiasm in your day-to-day life, आज काम करना है, आज काम करना है, and आज ये करना है, आज ये अपनी check off list इसको खत्म करना है, I think you can do a lot of wonders. A lot of things, can change in your life which you're not even aware of. I was never aware of the fact that I'm going to become an author. I'm going to become an entrepreneur. Everything came into picture with opportunities, with that energy, and with that self belief that aaj ye karna hai. my check-off list were the only thing which made me consistent and which made me, self-disciplined towards it. Because as I told you that koi danda marne wala nahi hai upar. So you only have to do it. You only have to find your way. You only should have the courage to stand up for yourself and your desires. Uh, if you dream big, then you will only know exactly how capable you are. Right now, today, when I interview, like when I get interviewed and I have these interview sessions for my book reading, so it gives a good feeling that you are able to exploit your capabilities to the fullest. You are not having that iota of doubt in your mind exactly of what you're supposed to do and what you're not. It's all opportunity based, daily basis. You are pressurizing yourself. You are constantly pursuing it. So that is one thing which people should do, because you are much more capable than you think you are. That's what I truly believe in. And the second thing is self-belief. You should have the confidence. You should know that you can do it. That is the entire thing. Amongst audience, when I write my book and I get a lot of criticism, I do get a lot of criticism for my books at times, but I'm very well aware of the fact that audience will have good people, audience will have critics, audience will have people who will shame you or who will compare you. So it is your perspective of how you handle it. You take it or you leave it. So it is completely all in your mind. So these are the two things which I really would like to tell everyone.
Great, ma'am. Ma'am, with this duration of the motherhood and all, was it difficult for you to adjust in the civil life from uniform life, ma'am?
Yes, it was a little difficult. I would say in the sense of manpower. So whenever you want to get a work done, you have 10 people around you who will get it done for you. Like maybe even a small printout. Even a small printout, you will say, "Yaar, ye karke la de, wahan se office se," or maybe, "Yaar, ye claim bhar do, ya ye SOC bana do." You have 10 people working under you, at your beck and call. So when you leave service and you go in the civil life, आपको एक printout भी खुद निकालना है. That's the comparison what I can do. And that was the thing which struck my mind when I left service, that you are no more in power. You are someone who has to do your own work, and people are not looking up to you. So you need to look up for yourself. So that was the main difference which I realized when I left service.
Okay, great, ma'am. Ma'am, what is the one thing that you miss most from your uniform life, ma'am?
I miss the oneness, the comradeship which people had amongst themselves, because outside sort of competition involved, outside everyone is cutting everyone's throat, everyone wants to climb the ladder of success. So there, that thing was not there. There, people, they would work for one mission, they would work towards one goal, and when that mission used to be over, in the evening they used to get together and celebrate together. So there was nothing called competition. There was nothing called you need to shine like a star, very, separately from other people. So that was one thing which I totally, totally miss, which was there in the service and not outside.
Great, ma'am. Thank you so much for all the insights that you have provided out of your experience and the versatile avenues that you have quoted. One must think about it. And we are very fortunate, ma'am. This is somewhat a unique episode wherein I personally feel it was not like an interview. Rather, it is a motivational video or a session for me as well as the viewers. I'm sure all of us will be benefited from your experience, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shaurya. And it was really great to interact with you. And it feels good, when someone applauds your work, someone applauds your versatility. It feels really nice. So thank you. Thank you so much for that honor.
Any last word you would like to convey to the officers in the transitioning phase, ma'am?
All I would say is that you already have a lot of power. Services have given you a lot of power already. Don't let it go waste. Dream big, desire big, because I feel till your 40s, till your 45, you can work your heart out, work it out, and I mean, you will know exactly how capable you are.
Thank you once again, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shaurya. Thank you.